my broadcast will stay true and let me record and let me live stream. Hopefully there will be no, oh sorry, abrupt error, you cannot stream. I hate that so much, and it does it to me so often. I feel so bad because I know that I have a few fans. I have a few fans that really like my channel, really like what I produce. And you know, I really hate not streaming because I feel like I don't know, I think it's a thing of consistency, right? I don't plug any merch, I don't have no merch or anything like that. I'm not a I'm not a professional YouTuber. You know, I just do this YouTube as a hobby of mine. Rather that than anything else. And so, you know, we're kind of far into our professional playthrough here, actually. And I would just like to say that, you know, it's been a hell of a playthrough, really. It's been so long since I've done a professional playthrough. I didn't actually complete this game on professional difficulty on PS4 because I'd done it all the way back on PS2, and I just, as a kid, it just gave me such bad memories, and it really put a big, like, frustrating taste in my mouth as a youngster playing this game. And I spent a lot of nights, long nights, staying up playing this game on my PS2, and I should have been in bed or, you know, playing something less frustrating, but no, I was playing Resident Evil 4. This game is literally my childhood, and I think partially a lot of this game, you have the negative crowd that says, well, you know, this game is worse than RE5, everyone hates the action, and this game is to blame for that. I disagree. Really, the levels of action were getting further increased with every entry in the series after 1. You know, you had 2, which was a bit more action oriented. But then, of course, you had games like, you know, Code Veronica and titles like RE3, which had Nemesis, and Nemesis was able to run. And you know, that really changed a lot of things, and so I don't think it's necessary. Shit, that scared the fuck out of me. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys. That actually scared, like, the fudge out of me. My bad. I think I just dropped an F-bomb. Sorry about that, folks. If that offended you. Which I'm sure 90% of the people, I'm sure, didn't. Let me examine this real quick. Yeah, okay, sweet. See, I had upgraded the damage output to 17. Because, you know, I mean, this is my strongest, most overpowered weapon, and it should be. It should be, because Magnum ammo is very rare. And if I ever have to use this, expend my Magnum ammo, it should definitely do a lot of damage for the ammo value that it costs. I mean, it's a very rare ammo in the game, and you can't buy ammo, so I say ammo cost, and you're probably like, what is he talking about? It's just the fact of the matter is, the ammo is so rare, if I'm to waste it on a target, it should be a large target, and my Magnum ammo should shred that target's health. Is what I'm just trying to get to, but yeah, no, I really like, oh shit. Forgot about that bear trap. Damn it, I thought I cleared out all the bear traps in the area. Well, I cleared out most of them, that's just not all of them, I guess. But yeah, no, there's just something to Resident Evil 4. It just has its own kind of drawl that I don't think Resident Evil 5 was able to capture. Partially because in this game, Ashley's rather useless. You know, she's not like Elizabeth. And, you know, when people say escort missions, you know, games I compare a lot to Resident Evil 4 is BioShock Infinite, right, with Elizabeth, right? Because she'll throw you ammo or coins or anything that she can find that's useful, and she has the ability to find these tears in reality and pull things from other realities into your reality, which is kind of cool because, like, it opens up a lot of windows of opportunity and stuff like that. So, you know, BioShock Infinite, I think, did the whole escort mission thing. I think it did it correctly. Oh, I hate that crawling. I hate that, like, I hate that noise and that like crawling thing in the legs and the shit that's touching. I hate that. I hate the way that looks. It reminds me so much of the movie Alien. The face huggers. Those things are fucking... Oh, those things are really freaky. I already dropped the F-bomb. I cuss on this channel. My content's not really based for kids, and neither is this game, really. Even though we all played it during our childhood. Like, we all did. But, yeah. You know, they don't ever drop the F-bomb in any Resident Evil game. I don't think. I don't remember ever hearing an F-bomb get dropped in a Resident Evil game. I remember, like, what the hell? You know, when, like, you shoot your enemy. Stuff like that, I don't know. Can I already appreciate those? I could aim at them, but I cannot. That one's just gonna jump on my back, I know it. There we go. Okay, I thought there was like a third one in there. Yeah, that room is kind of freaky. Those plaga, the parasite things. I think it was pretty cool. I guess I got a free spindle. Alright. Velvet blue. You know, if I were to honestly give this thing a review, which I think would be interesting, everybody has reviewed everybody and their mother has reviewed this game, and has always had positive things to say about it. I would say one of the many things that kind of disappoints me are the level-to-level segments, right? Where you're going from one area to the other, right? So we're going from the castle to outside a bug nest, and after the bug nest, before the bug nest, you're fighting two of those large dudes. And before you're fighting them, you're fighting two of the blind dudes with the Wolverine hands. And before you can do that, you got to go through this clock tower thing. And you have to go through all of this suffering, like one after the other. I mean, you have your first encounter with the blind dude, right? And it's like, you know, it's a tough boss fight because they put you in a small, crammed room. And it's really unsettling because it's such a small space. And this guy does a lot of damage. And you got to really work with the whole fact that he's blind, you know? So you got to really, like, work with that. You're like, okay, well, he can't really see me, so if I make a noise on one of these bells, oh, now he's chasing after the bell, now he's stabbed it with his arm, now he's stuck, which opens him up to, his only weak spot is his back. So he has to have his back turned to you, which makes things extra complicated. Oh, I actually have to shoot this. I remember this now. How many playthroughs have I done of this fucking game? I can't remember to shoot the damn thing. No. No, please. No, please. Karen, stay in your lane. You know, this section right here, they try to do this again in RE5 or 6. It was in Leon scenario, and it's like, yeah, this boss fight spider chick or whatever trying to kill you. It was what was her name? Helena's sister got infected, and yeah, you have to do that stupid minecart boss fight thing. And it is literally the same sort of segment. I don't know why, but a lot of RE4 assets get reused in a lot of other Resident Evil games. Especially, oh wait, no, we forgot to grab that. No way. I'll let them kill me. I'll let the Ganados kill me. Why? Because I'm nice. I'll let them get the win. I just like grabbing as much items as possible. So for me not to have grabbed those items, I feel like I'm missing out on supplies. Because here's the thing on these playthroughs, a lot of this is stress. Not stress, but lack of items, right? What makes this game really scary is what makes any Resident Evil game scary is item management. You can't grab everything you see. And so it's like what little you do have, sometimes you have to sacrifice ammo for key items or vice versa. Healing items for key, or you have to sacrifice your key items for ammo because you need to clear a room, or you need to do things in such a way to where you can use as much of your resources available to you, but sometimes you have to backtrack to the same area, so if you don't clear out a room, you're going to need the resources to clear that room out. Or sometimes enemies will respawn or come back, or something will happen, or you might be being chased or pursued by a large foe like Nemesis or something, and that can be very difficult. And so because of that, it makes it kind of a little bit scary, because it's like, okay, shit, well, I got this big asshole after me, and Nemesis. I'd rather grab some grenades, because a grenade can stun him, hold him back for a little while, give me enough time to get away, So, Resident Evil just has a way of working in those regards. But if you compare Resident Evil to Silent Hill doesn't have inventory management like Resident Evil has, and part of the reason for that is because Silent Hill is a totally different type of horror game. It is still survival horror, but it's not survival horror for the same reasons that Resident Evil is scary. It's not the same kind of eerie feeling. In this game, you're highly restricted. And, well, yeah, this may not be the world's first survival horror game. Hey, you know what? The first slasher movie wasn't really Halloween. It was actually, well, some may say it might be Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, right? But some other people, the modern slasher is more like Leatherface, right? Texas Chainsaw. That came out in 1974, and it was directed by Tobe Hooper. So yeah, there were slasher movies well before Halloween. So really, if you were to think about it like that, just because something is regarded as like the best does not make it original necessarily. Or I don't know where the hell I'm going with this analogy, actually. And anyway, with this game being remade, I really hope that they don't mess up this game when they go to remake it. And what I mean by mess the game up is, I mean like change too much. Because this game is to a lot of people like a perfect game, there's a lot of ways that people could really mess that up in those kind of regards, because people have this this expectation for Resident Evil 4 because it means so much to everybody. It's such an important game, and it did so much for culture. It was like one of the big, huge turning points for gaming entirely. of what a game could be, and they were doing all this during the PS2 era. And so when you have a game simply like that, I want to get out of here. Finally. Button mash. Those QTEs suck. Not always. Resident Evil 4 made me accept QTEs. Doom 2016 made me like them. And games like the Telltale games make me appreciate them. So. It's kind of weird to say it like that. Because normally you hear QTE and the only thing that goes through your mind is, those stupid ass press X or you die. Yeah, it's those. Yeah, they tend to piss me off as well. But hey, you know, what can you do? Before we go on our merry way, I know it's not a Silent Hill 2 tongue-in-cheek reference to Mary. Before we go on our merry way, let's go check with the merchant real quick. Let's see how much pesetas we have acquired. We have acquired 43,000 pesetas. Surely we can afford some kind of upgrade. Yeah, at least you'd kind of expect, to be able to upgrade your shit a little bit. Yeah, so I don't know, man. This game has a little bit of pacing issues with me. Pacing works, it's just like the amount of shit the game throws at you at certain times can sometimes be kind of bullshit. For instance, let me kind of emphasize before people are like, are you criticizing Resident Evil 4, the golden child? Well, you know, yeah, that's the problem. We all see this game as the perfect Resident Evil, and in a lot of ways it is. Because this game, I don't know, man, it does things that other Resident Evils couldn't do at the time, and it's a very revolutionary game, and it was very ahead of its time. It was doing things that games were not doing, and
Is that old,
I don't know.
Is that old?
And some games, this game is in some ways even better than a lot of modern games. And part of the longevity is just the pacing. Simply because the game throws so much at you, or puts you through so much until you get to the merchant and can acquire new upgrades, you have to work with what the game gives you. You can find extra items, extra ammo, herbs, and pesetas to upgrade equipment. It has a perfect mix of finding items and acquiring them. Because here's the thing, right? Treasures and all that stuff, you can upgrade your treasures to make them sell for more, and then you can use that to upgrade more your total arsenal. Here's the thing, upgrading one weapon is cool, but when you're upgrading all your weapons, you start to feel balanced. Versus just upgrading like one weapon. You're going to feel like that's going to be your go-to weapon, but what happens when you run out of the ammo for that one weapon? You got to use something else, and if you haven't upgraded that something else, it's not going to be nearly as efficient as it could be. So, in a lot of ways, it's that balance and pace. Because here's the thing, a lot of games, the pacing, toward the end of the game, you're always super overpowered. Okay? But by the time that pacing, right, introduces new enemy types to you, has to sort of present the enemies in such a way that allows for however far you're in the game to make them not so overpowered to the point where you can't kill them on your first encounter, but make it so you kind of understand how the enemies work and sort of experiment a little bit to see what their main weaknesses and, you know, sort of, yeah, it's all about pacing. You can't introduce an enemy that is susceptible to magnum ammo when you don't have a magnum. Like, you know what I mean? Or they can't introduce an enemy that's susceptible to fire if the game hasn't given you a flamethrower yet, or something like that, along those lines. I mean, sure, in some cases it works to present enemies like that, to keep them kind of, their weaknesses unknown for a little while until later on in the game. But I don't know, man. It's like pacing. The game does it perfectly. I remember the first time I encountered my Plaga-infected Ganado. I shot him in the head. His head exploded, and that tentacle thing came off. And I'm like, "Whoa, what in the hell is this thing?" It's attacking me from long range, and I'm like, "What the hell?" So you know, it's very threatening because you could expend your resources and shoot him in the chest 100 times, and he doesn't die yet. And you shoot him in the head once, plop, poop. And now I gotta kill that thing, and it's like, damn, I just wasted a whole lot of ammo on this guy. Maybe I should always go for the head instead of shooting them in the chest. So, I mean...
Is that old? Thank you. Is that old, stranger? Is that old? Is that... Thank you.
Alright, so I only need one reload speed upgrade and one capacity upgrade and one firepower upgrade. And then I'll be able to get my riot gun fully upgraded. As for my TMP, I only have one more capacity upgrade and I get its exclusive. As for my Red 9, I have another capacity upgrade to get, and then I'll be able to fully get their exclusives. But you know what that means, guys? That means I'm about to have 3 weapons fully upgraded. So by the end of the game, these weapons should still be holding up, and should be better than the next weapons I should acquire. So, I mean, you know, if you play like how I play in Resident Evil 4, just like that, like where you're upgrading multiple things and keeping everything balanced, everything sort of makes sense. Like, look, okay, now I have 8 shots for this thing. 8 shots. Each shot does 17 damage, which right now for me is the most amount of damage I can do. The next upgrade brings it to 20, which basically does the equivalent of 20 regular pistol shots. That's a lot of damage in one shot, especially having 8 shots of that shit. Now, all I have to do is upgrade my reload speed so I can reload my weapon more consistently, and upgrade my capacity to 12. I'm sure when I fully upgrade the exclusive to it, makes it do 50 damage. 50 base damage is a lot of damage in this game, and will easily allow you to shred through boss fights quickly. Which is nice to have an anti-boss weapon, especially at this point in the game, because we haven't encountered a large boss yet. We've encountered a couple mini-bosses. But having something that can dish out a large damage pool at my enemy is just it's pretty good to have in the arsenal, especially considering I haven't paid a dime for it. I've literally just been upgrading it. It's a shame the gun doesn't come with a maximum reload speed and capacity, because if it only did that, then we'd be pretty much set. We just have to upgrade the damage a little bit. But it's a shame that, you know, the treasure pistol didn't come pre-upgraded. It would have been really nice if it was actually a custom Magnum instead, a completely separate weapon. The other weapon's the Killer 7, which is a reference to Capcom's Killer 7, the video game. And really, the weapon, it's alright. I mean, it's basically the semi-automatic, high-capacity, magazine-fed, weapon. It does a lot more base damage, but considering that when this weapon is actually truly fully upgraded, or the Broken Butterfly, when it's fully upgraded versus the Killer 7, the Broken Butterfly does 50 damage, which literally makes this thing an anti-boss weapon. 2 shots of that's totally 100 damage. 3 shots is 150. 4 shots, 200. 5 shots, 250. 6 shots is literally 300 damage. Which, if your boss is able to take 6 whole critical hits of that, with that much amount of damage, then your boss should be basically about dead. Yeah. It's pretty good stuff right there. But apart from that, really, I really need to start upgrading my sniper rifle. The main reason I've been holding off on it is I've been trying to save up so I can upgrade my Red 9 so it has a high damage output. Because here's my whole belief: if my primary go-to utility weapon is the Red 9, then if that's the gun I have the most ammo for, then why should I waste my ammo? If I can shoot 9 shots at an enemy and kill them, why not just only shoot them 4 times instead of 9 times? That way I save ammo and have larger stockpiles of ammo. And that way it does more efficient against bigger enemies and tougher enemies, and that way it has more stun capability. It makes it way more versatile when fully upgraded. As for my regular shotgun, it will be doing 10 damage when fully upgraded. And as for my TMP, it'll basically be doing 1.8 damage, which essentially is almost 2 whole damage per shot. Which essentially, with a 250 round magazine, is basically the equivalent of 200 or almost 400 damage, pretty much almost. When you dump your whole magazine into an enemy. Which basically, if you pump 12 shots of the broken butterfly into the final boss and then dump 3 whole TMP mags into the boss while it's fully upgraded, then pump like 7 shotgun shots into him, he should be done. Like, there shouldn't be anything left to dish out as far as damage output goes. Why I like the Red 9 is it comes with a stock, and the shouldering it really makes it extremely stable. Makes it a lot easier to use. Which is pretty cool. Boy, Leon got the hops. Tell you what, guys. That's some tough stuff. But yeah, no, if it's any PS2 era game, if you ever get a PS2, guys, I immediately recommend you get these 3 games that are pretty much readily available. I recommend getting Mortal Kombat Armageddon. That game is just fun. Number 2, I recommend getting a copy of Bully. However you attain it, I don't really care. Just find a way to get a copy of Bully. Now you can find just the disc pretty cheap, like 30 bucks, 15 bucks, something in that ballpark. If you can find a copy, I recommend getting RE4. This is just one of the best games to experience on the PS2. As the PS2 tends to be a pretty lame console. Not really lame, it has some of the best games on it. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, if you're like me and you have Silent Hill 1 through 4 plus Origins and Shattered Memories, we don't talk about the one we don't talk about, and some of the other Resident Evil titles, and you know, you have Cold Fear, Siren. If you're like me and you have a shit ton of just great games, like some of my survival horror games are worth so much money. Like Obscure is easily a $200 game. Like Rule of Rose is another one that's really expensive. But I mean, like, once you get the amount of games that I have for a PS2, it's like, yeah, then you're getting your money's worth. But those games cost more than the console itself. And once you get to that point, it's like, you know, why am I even doing this? It's like kind of goofy at that point. Well, the big and important thing about it is, you know, once you've acquired the games, you know, like, okay, I have the Devil May Cry trilogy. I have 1, 2, and 3 for the PS2. And those are fun games. I have the Resident Evil games. Like, once you've acquired games, then it's pretty fun. It gets rewarding. But, you know, if you only have like a couple racing games and some sports games, you're like, yeah, this console really sucks. Now, it's not to say that... That's not to by any means say that, you know, sports games are the worst. I mean, I have my opinion about sports games because they're sports. They're pretty much the same game released every year, type of problems. But beyond all that, really, the surface level of it all, I really don't mind it. It's something entertaining if you can find entertainment out of playing a sports game. Like, so if I'm playing football, I get to play as my favorite football team. So for me, I'm always going to pick Cincinnati Bengals. And so that's how I get enjoyment out of all that. The NASCAR game, I can play as my favorite NASCAR driver. I can play as Jimmy Johnson or like Kyle Busch or whatever. And I can still do all that on like the modern racing games too. The modern NASCAR games. And they do make NASCAR games. People are like, well, I hate NASCAR. It's not even a real sport or whatever. They'll have negativity. They'll have negative things to say about everything. And other times, it's like, okay, you know, maybe there's a Final Fantasy game that you want to experience. Or Kingdom Hearts or something. I don't know, something different. There's that, too. The PS2 had a lot of games, man. I don't think people understand how many games the PS2 really has going for it. already at 9,900 pistaches. 100 more and I'll already be at 1,100 pistaches. I'll already be at 10,000 pistaches. So it's like, you know, the more I upgrade, I gotta stay up to 100,000. My thing is, I gotta be able to fully upgrade my red or my shotguns. Don't matter which one of the two, as long as it's one. Not some creepy ass shit. I think it will checkpoint me there. I don't think I have to redo all that. I'm pretty sure I don't, and if I do, I'll be pissed. I had to expend a lot of ammo. Alright, I gotta get my button mashing boot in. Let's heal up a little bit more. I know the higher the health or whatever, it's like... The Vertigo boss fight really sucks. I actually had to beat mine without actually killing the Vertigo. I couldn't kill him. I got him stuck in that door glitch. more I heal up, the higher up the health, the quicker you run, I think. Even though we're in green, I don't know, bro. Watch this. If I equip S and G, and oh shit, alright. Keep doing it, man. I like the button matching sections. I don't know. I wish Leon traveled a little faster. I don't know, man. They should really like give you a few seconds to run on there just to let it bash through, you know, just so you can sort of get, you know, sort of let it gain on you a little bit, but not, you know, let it break through the wall instead of. Yeah, I should just give you a few seconds more. Alright guys, I don't want to give up. I know I can do it. I know I could really do it. I really wanted to. Dude, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, dude. Bruh, what does a guy have to do to beat a QTE, bro? Alright guys, I'm sorry. I give